If you grew up in the 1970s, you likely carry a quiet, persistent sense that the world is moving in a rhythm your nervous system doesn't quite recognize. You began your development in a baseline environment that was slow, still, and fundamentally quiet. Today, that environment is gone. Our daily lives are flooded with a constant, high-velocity stream of digital noise, immediate demands, and public performance. It's easy to misread this friction as a failure to keep up or a stubborn resistance to change. But feeling out of place doesn't mean your brain is outdated. It means your nervous system is calibrated for a specific psychological biome that no longer exists. You are an organism adapted to one world, currently trying to function in another. To understand the specific strengths and anxieties you carry today, we have to look past the nostalgia of the 1970s and see it for what it actually was, a distinct, unrepeatable laboratory for human development. In the 1970s, boredom wasn't an emergency. If you told your parents you had nothing to do, they didn't reach for a tablet or a schedule. They told you to find something to do, or they'd find a chore for you. That lack of external curation forced your attention inward. Without a screen, you had to discover what held your interest, spending hours engaged in the slow, solitary work of trial and error. This process builds what researchers call intrinsic motivation. When you choose how to spend your hours, your brain learns to associate effort with internal satisfaction, rather than needing a constant stream of external rewards to stay engaged. This is why empty space doesn't terrify you today. While others reach for a phone to fill every silent gap, your brain remembers that meaning isn't always prepackaged. Sometimes it has to be created. Modern childhood is heavily buffered to eliminate risk. But the 1970s offered a different kind of training, raw physical freedom, where you navigated heights and hazards entirely on your own. This wasn't just recklessness. It provided your nervous system with critical, undeniable data. You didn't learn about your limits because someone explained them. You learned them because you felt them in your own body. This style represents how the amygdala, your brain's fear center, calibrates through experience. Every scrape or fall initially spiked the system into high alarm, but as you recovered, the brain learned the pain wasn't catastrophic. It physically dialed back your fear response. Over time, your system learned to distinguish mere discomfort from actual danger, filtering out the noise of minor stressors. This is why you tend to get quieter when things go wrong today. While others might spiral into panic, your body moves into assessment, knowing that urgency doesn't require a state of emergency. Waiting was built into the fabric of 1970s life. Waiting a week for an episode or days for film to develop, nothing arrived instantly, and that was considered normal. Even simple communication required physical effort and patience. You memorized numbers, navigated busy signals, and hoped the person you wanted to talk to was actually home to answer. These curves track how dopamine, the brain's reward chemical, responds to different environments. Modern systems flood the brain with instant rewards that create sharp spikes and immediate crashes. But the built-in friction of your childhood trained the brain for anticipation, creating a slow, stable incline that plateaus into lasting satisfaction. Because your reward system wasn't burned out by constant instant hits, you carry a rare capacity for deep commitment. You possess the neurological patience required for long-term follow-through and stable satisfaction. By the age of 8, many of you were managing a level of independence that would seem unthinkable today. You navigated the world entirely unsupervised, with the only instruction being to return when the streetlights came on. This geographic freedom cemented what psychologists call an internal locus of control. You learned that your decisions mattered and that you were capable of handling whatever the day threw at you. But that autonomy had a hidden cost. Because you were trusted to manage your own behavior so early, you also learned to contain your emotions quietly. Survival often depended on self-reliance, not on asking for help. This creates adults who are supremely competent in a crisis, but find vulnerability vaguely uncomfortable. You are excellent at carrying a heavy load, largely because your system learned early that you had to carry it alone. Today's world relies almost exclusively on external regulation, constant notifications, social feedback, and continuous emotional broadcasting. It is a world of signal over substance. When you pause instead of reacting, or when you choose not to narrate every feeling in real time, it can be mistaken for emotional distance. People who didn't grow up with your wiring may see your steadiness as detachment, but that isn't distance. It is a mind trained to stay functional when things are messy. In a performative room, your internal stability acts as a necessary anchor. You don't need to become louder or faster to belong in the modern world. The work now is to integrate the self-trust and resilience your childhood gave you, while finally allowing yourself the connection and support you were once taught to do without. That era of physical freedom is gone, but the wiring it left behind is more relevant than ever. In a world that keeps trying to rush past the moment, your quiet competence is a strength the rest of us are still trying to learn.